not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
As is the case with most people, I think they remember the assassination more than anything else. Although he did a lot of good things for the country. He was involved in the Cuban crisis. He was involved in a whole bunch of things that were difficult and managed to come out all right in most of them. Not all of them, but most of them.
I would say that everyone was very fond of John F. Kennedy and his gorgeous wife. She was a real model and a good little mother and everything wonderful.
I think that we were so innocent and pure and love and June and bloom, and we dreamed of Camelot, and they were just the pair that put that across the nation. I remember coming in a parade down Worcester Boulevard past a store that I owned at that time, and it was unbelievable. I mean, they just put us all in the greatest frame of mind that I think the country had been in many, many years.
It was really the first time that young kids were featured in many of the photographs that were taken in the White House. The kids playing while Jack was doing the work of being the president. That would necessarily gin up a lot of support for a lot of families who looked upon it as the right way to do it. It was a different presidency from any others that we had experienced up to that time. We didn't know that he was as ill as he was. He was injured during the war when he was the captain of the PT boat that had been rammed by a Japanese destroyer. And a number of his shipmates were killed in that incident, but he helped one guy get ashore and saved his life, and those are all big pluses.
I think America was really crying out for, after all the wars and the ongoing wars and more wars, for some refinement and elegance and nice things like that. We didn't want a king and a queen, but they came for democracy. They came as close to being that as you could get.
I was in the kitchen and the telephone rang. I answered the phone. It was our neighbor across the way, and she said, "I have some terrible news for you. The president was just shot." I said, "What?" And she said, "Yes, put your television on. It's on right now." And I said, "Oh," and I just started to cry. I was just absolutely upset.
Well, I heard about Kennedy being assassinated. I was in an FBI car in Manhattan with another guy. We were doing some work, and the announcement came over our radio in the car as to what had transpired, and it really shocked everybody to think that could happen in this country.
No TV, no nothing. Walk into this little market where they sold you everything in the whole world. You didn't go to a lot of different markets. You just took all your businesses, one little place in the Hollywood Hills. And the radio was blaring behind the meat counter, and we were told that John F. Kennedy had been shot.
He and his staff decided they would take the bulletproof bubble away from his car, so he was out in the open, and that was, even then, very unusual, and it's never happened since. Ever since then, when the president travels in a car, it's a closed vehicle. And at that time, when the president was killed, his staff, I think, probably made that decision to give him more connection with the viewing public.
For 4 days and 4 nights, I don't think anybody anywhere left their homes. You just stayed in your house day and night and never turned off the TV. I mean, it was unbelievable. And yet, that's the 4th president that had been assassinated in a 200-year-old country. So you kind of think, what is this? What's going on? For a democracy who seems to help and take care of so many people, or had through the years, there's always someone that's just such a fanatic that seems to come after people that are important to us. I don't know. It just works that way, I guess.
Oswald was the man, no question about it. And of course, the weakness in that is that he was killed by Jack Ruby, so we never got a chance to really talk to him at great length. And as a consequence, there are a lot of questions, but I think the majority of people understand that Oswald was the guy, and he was acting probably alone. I don't know who can say for sure, but that's the way it looks. And I accept that, along with most of the fellows that I worked with.
I don't think anything has been, examined more carefully in the whole world than that was. And I do believe, at least I think that if there was more than one shooter, it would have come out. I have to believe that.
It was pretty hard to protect him, man. I personally believe those shots were sort of lucky, or I hate to use that term lucky, but it was a surprise that he hit the president going away in a moving vehicle quite a distance away and hitting him with both shots, and one of them ricocheted and then wounded Governor Connolly, who was also in the car. It was just fate, I guess, that it said that he was going to be that good as an assassin. I haven't changed my opinion very much. I liked Kennedy as a president. I liked him as a person based on what I knew about him. Although he had faults, like all of us, he came across as a pretty nice guy. And I've maintained that position, period.